Today, we're heading over to EPCOT for a hidden gem, the Behind the Seeds tour at Living with the Land. If you've ever floated through the greenhouses on the ride and wished you could step inside, this is your chance. We get up close with Disney's incredible hydroponics, giant produce, clever farming tech, and even some of the fish and beneficial bugs that help keep the whole system running. It's hands-on, educational, and it's honestly one of the coolest ways to see the magic behind the scenes. But before we head to EPCOT, we're starting our Disney day by rope-dropping Hollywood Studios. And to wrap up the perfect Disney day, we're eating at one of our absolute favorite restaurants on property, Ohana. Bring on the noodles, the potstickers, the skewers, and all the Polynesian vibes. Join us. Good morning. We're at Hollywood Studios this morning. We're here for the early entry time. It's a crowded day. As you can see right now, it's still early entry time, but the waits are very long. But we got here at the earlier part of early entry. We're gonna do some rides, and then we're gonna head over to EPCOT for behind the scenes of Living with the Land. And later tonight is Ohana. So we have a lot of fun things planned today.
Yay, let's go do it.
Welcome to Slinky Dog.
I love how they show the safety video here in this way. It's so clever.
Inside the vehicle and keep an eye on your...
Next we did Alien Twirling Saucers and Toy Story Midway Mania. Alright, so fairly new is the single rider at Rise of the Resistance. We're going to try it out. So we bypassed the ship and we bypassed the pre-show with Ray. Oh, so we get right in here. Wow. The single rider was definitely worth it. Right now standby time is 165 minutes. It took only 15 minutes for the single rider line. Now it does bypass the pre-show with Ray and the transport ship, so you miss those two and you enter right into kind of the big reveal with all the stormtroopers. But definitely worth it to save that much time. And amazingly, the three of them got to go together. And
I'm gonna sit next to Rebecca in front row.
wow, that's amazing. Next we have a lightning lane for Slinky Dog. Next is Tower of Terror, a 90-minute standby wait. We have a lightning lane. After that, we went to see Beauty and the Beast in the Theater of the Stars. We mobile ordered at Woody's Lunchbox. Would have been a long wait if we didn't mobile order. This is the gluten-free brisket sandwich with potato barrels. Kids grilled cheese comes with potato barrels and soup and a drink. And this is a special holiday toaster pastry.
You can choose two sides, potato barrels, tomato soup, or cutie.
This is a good brisket grilled cheese. Rebecca said Disney makes good grilled cheeses. Woody's Lunchbox is a great quick service place. There's not a whole lot of seating. We had to move over toward Galaxy's Edge to find a table. We're gonna take the Skyliner over to EPCOT now.
Oh my gosh.
I'm Ursula.
You're Ursula?
Did you know that the entire Walt Disney World Resort is over 40 square miles? That's about the same size as the city of San Francisco and double the island of Manhattan.
It took us over 40 minutes to get to EPCOT from Hollywood Studios on the Skyliner because the Skyliner kept stopping. In hindsight, we probably should have taken the boats, but we're here now at Living with the Land to do a behind-the-scenes tour called something. Called Behind the Seeds Tour. It's a separate paid event, or separate paid. I'll have to check the price. I'll put the price right here because I don't know what it is right now. There it is. They give us earpieces so we could hear the tour guide better. So the audio is going to sound a little bit different now. It's going to be a little bit off because I connected the earpiece to the microphone of the camera.
An integrated pest management lab. And we use soft pesticides here at the land, like soaps and oils. So like neem oil is a great example that we kind of wash our plants in. So you can have a good bug and a pest bug. We introduced ladybugs onto our eggplants a few weeks ago because we were noticing some aphids. It's a great example. There is another one here in this lab with a live pest bug called a leaf miner fly. And the good bug in this relationship is a type of wasp. So our wasps are on the bottom rows. They're a parasitoid wasp. And this little parasitoid wasp is searching for that fly larva that's inside eating the plant, because once it finds it, it uses its stinger to inject a wasp egg into the fly larva, right through the leaf egg. So after about 10 to 12 days, the wasp hatches and eats the fly from the inside. You know, we've introduced some of those good bugs, taken the lid off, and they're out there doing that process, looking for fly larvae.
All these jars in front of us, they're called Mickey's Mini Gardens. So what they are little tissue culture cuttings of plants from the greenhouses, and they're put in here to grow for a bit by themselves before they're ready to be taken out and transplanted. The blue and red LED lights to make the purple color is to help speed things up. That helps to accelerate the root growth while they're in that space in the gel. All around us today, we're going to see about 150 species of edible plants, but all of these plants, they need certain things to survive. The plants are getting that through hydroponic systems, so not necessarily using soil to support them or get their nutrients from. And on the boat ride, because there's so many people on the ride, just by breathing, you help out the plants too. Not a lot of greenhouses have a ride, so we're lucky. And this is an aeroponic garden. Our Brussels sprouts and kale, those plants were just seeded in September of this year. And then we moved them onto this aeroponic garden to let them really thrive. There are misters inside the walls spraying out water and nutrients, so if you want to take a closer look, you're welcome to peek in between the walls to see that happen. If anyone has seen on the ride before where there's fish under the plants, we have tilapia making a really nutrient-rich water that we reuse to feed the plants that are right over them. Everything around us is edible in some sort of shape or fashion, so it really helps that we grow things 2 to 3 times faster so that we can send it out around Disney property. But there is one plant that breaks the rules. It's not edible, and you are allowed to touch this one. Pinch it and let go to see what happens. Sometimes the lighter green ones are really sensitive. Does anyone know why it's doing that? Why it closes when you touch it? Yeah, protection. So if there's like a bug or an animal sniffing for a snack, and they start to close up, it doesn't look very appetizing anymore. And it does protect itself that way. It can scare things away from it too. If there was even like a lot of wind or vibration, it goes from this to this. Those systems that you're looking at, that's called vertigrow, and that was made by a strawberry farmer in Florida. So it used very wide scale in a big commercial setting too. So very efficient and sustainable. This is a recycled fish tank, and then inside there's water and nutrient solution flowing through. So our onions are supported by a raft that we cut out of recycled foam, and they can rest on that while the roots soak in everything that they need. Has anyone tried a cucumber from Living with the Land? Yeah, if you're eating at Garden Grill, they like to send a lot of things up to the restaurant there. We have lots of restaurants in other parks too, like Tiffin's at Animal Kingdom. Okay. They have a land salad, so we'll send things there. Okay. If we have different festivals or like seasonal flavors, they can go out to different areas on Disney property too. These are very special cucumbers. These were also harvested this morning. These are a thin-skinned and pretty seedless variety called Davita cucumbers. You're walking into our production greenhouse. This area is where we make about 20,000 pounds of produce per year. You'll get to see some of our trellis structures. We like to grow our plants kind of over these tall structures so they make almost a tree. That helps us to prevent pest damage and let the plants spread out over the tops as well.
Is this rotating just for fun, or is there a purpose to that?
Yeah, our salad spinners are just really cool to look at, so they like having that rotation. Has anyone ever heard of a sweet potato Christmas tree? Here, if you look closely in the very middle, there's a pot with 6 vines coming up out of it. That's what's making up this entire structure. And this was all seeded in June of this year. Each of these red pots has a grouping of those sweet potatoes inside of them. Helps to really help the plant to spread out, have a lot of space to grow. We like to shape our lettuce in very fun ways. So this next area, this is a nutrient film technique with the lettuce. They're all resting on a cube of rock wool, and then in those white slides, they get sent their water and nutrient solution. But if you hear that humming sound, that's from the chillers that we use to cool the water down. Sometimes in Florida, it gets way too hot for lettuce to grow here in the greenhouse. Does anyone know what we try to make this cucumber shape into for this tube?
Looks like a Mickey.
Mickey! So this is ultimately the cucumber, when you put this around it, will grow to expand into a Mickey shape. And then when you take it out, you get slices for a very magical salad. Sometimes these are grown for Disney weddings, special events too. So it's always very fun. A little extra pixie dust. There's one leaf that shows like a little red dot on that leaf. That's because we released our ladybugs here. So that's what's left behind as they turn into their adult forms. Our next room has plants from around the world, some that you might not have heard of before. This is called the temperate greenhouse. This is a great example of how we're growing a lot of plants from around the world in one space using a completely different technique. So under the sand, we have something called our drip irrigation. And there's pipes like this one, it's a small section, but there's little holes in these that send out pressurized water and nutrients to the plant roots. The sand itself actually goes about 5 feet deep. So very deep sand. And this pipe that I showed you, the drip irrigation, usually is buried about 1 to 2 feet under the sand. So these Casa banana fruits, the red ones are the ones that are mature, almost ready to be harvested. They taste nothing like banana. They taste a lot more like cantaloupe mixed with watermelon. When we have plants that we don't grow a whole lot of, or that maybe people can't eat very well, do you know where we send it to instead of restaurants? Animal Kingdom. Yes, Animal Kingdom. Did you know the animals get birthday parties sometimes? Yeah, it's wonderful. They get like birthday vegetable cakes, maybe sweet potato frosting if they want that, and even some of their sweet fruits, their favorite fruits, that's considered like a sweet treat. So they can get that during their birthdays or for like a holiday gift. We just sent some cucumbers to the tortoises to eat. It's like a little stocking stuffer for them. We're heading over to our coffee trees. It's just past this citrus display, but the coffee trees down here, they're very dark green with downward facing leaves. They were seeded in 2014. So there's some of our older plants here. There are some gourds at the end of this row. They're not very edible, so usually these dipper gourds are dried out, used as ladles or decorative pieces. But the best part is how fast these grow. If you see in the middle, there are 6 vines. Those plants were all just seeded in August of this year. So from August until now. And there's some little plastic cups in the middle of those pots. That's where our parasitoid wasps have been released. Pomegranates, yeah. Pomegranates are usually wind pollinated, so in the greenhouses we have leaf blowers, and we'll wind pollinate them on a very low setting. And there's a Buddha's hand at the end, a big citron, this yellow fruit. When they mature, their little branches at the end kind of start to come out like fingers, so it looks like a hand. The protective shoe coverings are just to make sure we don't introduce anything from our shoes that were outside into the sand. Because there are pests that could go under and dehydrate the roots, things like that too. This next room is very different than a greenhouse setting, because it's all about sustainable seafood. So we'll slowly move through this section so you can see 4 different species that are used in sustainable seafood farming. See our catfish, and they're one of the most common fish used in aquaculture around the world. But with the other fish here, the hybrid bass and hybrid tilapia, they're hybrid because they're a cross between a really large growing fish and a really fast growing fish. And in this room specifically, we have a water quality team that comes in to check the pH of the water, the alkalinity, the temperature. They also go into the water in a big wetsuit and clean everything manually. That's a big part of aquaculture, controlling that water quality and food quality too.
Are these served at local restaurants?
Yes. Yeah. They're considered restaurant quality, ready to go.
If they're not used for restaurants, do they go to Animal Kingdom for feed?
They could be requested by the nutrition team. We're going into our last greenhouse. And you are greeted by some cacao trees and banana leaves. Let's see if you spot any bananas as we're heading in.
This is ice cream banana.
Oh yeah, ice cream bananas.
Specific, like, especially sweet or something?
Oh yeah, that variety is supposed to taste like vanilla ice cream.
Oh.
I tried one, it tastes like banana. The really thick vining one is a 19-year-old Madagascar vanilla. But there is one thing pretty neat growing here today. We have a banana flower on the pathways. It's really cool. It's a giant cone shape, And under each petal that lifts up, you get a new row of baby bananas. Those are our ice cream bananas. And we're coming over to our spice garden. But in the spice garden, there is a lot of variety of spices in their plant forms. So you might recognize them from your own pantries or spice cabinets. And we're gonna do a little spice guessing game. Let's know this one. A nice one to end the holidays with.
Probably allspice. Oh.
Hello.
Saffron?
Probably, yeah.
Does anyone use saffron in cooking, or have you had dishes with saffron? Oh, wonderful. So when you eat that, the saffron is coming from this really nice blue flower. Our cardamom plant is right back over here. But if anyone likes chai tea, this is a really important ingredient. Wasabi. That's the natural powdered form of wasabi. Peppercorns. And this came from one of the plants in this garden. So this pepper Mickey is 24 years old. It's the oldest plant at Living with the Land. And it's the best spot for pictures. Our vanilla does have beans on it. You see these green beans on the front? Those are your very green vanilla beans for now. Now we talked a little bit about the tomatoes, but they string when the plants themselves are growing taller. We come in on a ladder and lower them down with a string and then lean them over to the next section. So you can see that pattern at the bottom, the lean and lower technique. It's a really nice way to save room when you have so much growth of those tomatoes.
All right, Rebecca, what do you think of the behind the scenes seeds tour?
It was really cool, and we got to, at one point, we got to like eat one of the fruits. Was really cool, and they got to show us like things that we wouldn't see on the ride.
Like what?
Like how they make cucumbers into Mickeys and other hidden plants that we can't really see that much.
I would recommend the Living with the Land behind the seeds tour. It's a lot of fun. You got to appreciate more of what's happening in the greenhouse and how much they're producing. And then you also learn like where they use all the produce for as well. They don't try to waste anything. They'll even go to the animals in Animal Kingdom. So highly recommend it. It was really fun and fascinating.
You can see the ride and you can see the plants and you're like kind of going in a pathway behind it. So that's cool how you can see things like in the ride. Sometimes you can't see like the further back plants and you can see it. And it was also cool like how when you're passing by you can see like when they planted all the plants, and so you can see like how fast they grow, some of them.
The tours aren't very big. We had 15 people total on our tour, so they keep them fairly small so you can ask a lot of questions and be in a small group going through the greenhouses.
So you can book it 60 days ahead of time, but I think that one is actually at midnight versus the dining reservation, which is at 6 a.m. 9 p.m. on West Coast time, 12 a.m. on East Coast time, 60 days ahead of time.
So I enjoyed that a lot. It's always fun to go behind the scenes, in this case behind the seeds. So on this Gingerbread Spaceship Earth, there are 11 hidden Mickeys, 900 gingerbread triangles. They have a timer here showing when the next show is going to be.
5, 4, 3, 2.
We took the monorail from EPCOT over to the TTC and then to the Polynesian Hotel because we have reservations tonight at Ohana, saving the best for last. This is the back scratcher. Bacardi Superior Rum Plantation Original Dark Rum and Guava Passion Fruit Juice topped with Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey and a bamboo back scratcher. This is the gluten-free skillet, the famous Ohana noodles, Polynesian inspired chimichurri chicken. This is peel and eat shrimp and teriyaki beef. Alright, we had an amazing dinner at Ohana. We always love Ohana. So now we're going to take the monorail back to our resort and then go over to the airport for an early flight. Alright, we Ubered to the Orlando airport. We're staying at the Hyatt tonight because we have an early flight tomorrow morning back to California. But we had a great time at Disney World. We'll see you soon.
One sec, I'm thinking of one. Basically, I feel like the behind the scenes tour, behind the scenes tour.